news as the president has announced plans to spare the lives of nearly all federal death row inmates just days before Christmas and 28 days before leaving office. 37 of the 40 prisoners on federal death row, including several who committed murders behind bars, will now serve life without parole. NewsNation's Tom Dempsey has the latest from the White House this morning. Tom, some are viewing this move as a parting shot at the Trump administration.
Absolutely. There might be some evidence of that. Good morning from the White House, Nick. Look, just a short time ago, President Joe Biden publicly announcing that the lives of almost all federal death row inmates will be spared. Instead, they will see life sentences without the possibility of parole. But like you said, this comes less than a month before President Biden is expected to will be leaving office in January. And this could hurt those plans by President-elect Donald Trump to potentially expand the use of the federal death penalty. In making this announcement, President Biden called out concerns over President-elect Trump possibly ending a moratorium on executions and expanding the use of the federal death penalty to include drug smugglers and human traffickers. In a statement this morning, President Biden writing, quote, "Make no mistake, I condemn these murderers, grieve for the victims of their despicable acts, and ache for all the families who have suffered unimaginable and irreparable loss." He goes on to say, though, but guided by my conscience and by my experience, I am more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level. And of course, the timing of all this, earlier this month, President Biden pardoning his son Hunter in the midst of convictions and legal troubles against his son. And he's also issued over 36 pardons and almost 1,500 commutations. So a very busy month for these types of announcements from President Biden, Nick.
But, Tom, what do we know about the inmates who are being spared? And maybe more importantly, the 3 who still face the death penalty?
Yeah, so there's 40 people on the federal death row list right now, and these involve cases of people murdering fellow inmates in some cases, potentially murdering someone during an armed robbery. But we want to dive into some of the other cases as well. One of the oldest cases, it dates back to 1993, and it involves Richard Tipton and James Roan Jr., both charged in a series of drug-related killings in Richmond, Virginia, as well as Daniel Troya and Ricardo Sanchez, who were sentenced to death back in 2009 for their involvement in a drug-related murder of a family of 4. Including a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old boy. Now, like I said, there's 40 people on that federal death row list. 3 people will not be affected by these commutations, and they will still face the possibility of being put to death. We're talking about Dylan Roof, who is charged in connection to that Charleston, South Carolina church shooting. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev charged in connection to that Boston Marathon bombing, and James Bowers, Robert Bowers, charged in connection to the Tree of Life synagogue shooting from years ago, Nick.
Well, Tom, those are definitely some high-profile cases. Tom Dempsey, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.